Chenonceaux started as a feudal manor. Jean Marquet, the owner, said nasty things about the king behind his back. When word got back to the king, he had the guy's manor house razed. When Marquis rebuilt, he built a castle and a fortified mill, just in case the king's men came for another visit. Jean's son Pierre lived life in the fast lane, accumulating a pile of debt. After Dad died, Pierre sold the castle to pay off the debt. Thomas Boyer, a tax collector for Louis XII and Francois I, bought the place. Boyer tore down the castle and mill. He started construction on a new castle over the river, using the mill's pillars as a foundation. Boyer was called to Italy and left construction and a blank checkbook with his wife, Catherine Briconnet. She was the first of 3 women to build and rebuild Chenonceaux. The others were Diane de Poitiers and Catherine de Medici. Because of their influence, Chenonceaux is called the Chateau of the Ladies. The fact that it was built on the river Cher, that is, Deer River, is purely coincidence. There are several stories floating around about how Chenonceaux passed from Boyer to Diane de Poitiers. The most plausible involves a quiet scandal when an audit following Boyer's death revealed a little embezzlement. Chenonceaux was passed along to the crown to settle things. Francois I, who focused on building Chambord, didn't pay much attention to Chenonceaux. When he was succeeded by Henri II, Chenonceaux was given to Diane de Poitiers. Now here it gets a little complicated. Diane de Poitiers was a 35-year-old widow when she took up with 15-year-old Henri d'Orleans, second in line to the throne, and husband of Catherine de Medici. Henri appeared to worship Diane, although this didn't keep him from knocking up 3 other women out of wedlock from 3 different countries. Diane, by all accounts, was beautiful, extremely intelligent, and politically savvy. Henri more or less neglected Catherine de Medici, his wife, for Diane. Worse, Catherine was having trouble getting pregnant. Since propagation of an heir is the most important role for a queen, there was talk of an annulment. Diane and Catherine weren't on the best of terms, but Diane realized that a new wife might not be the best thing. She could control Catherine, and she might not have as much success with another wife. So in a made-for-Jerry Springer set of relationships, Diane worked out an arrangement with Catherine where Henri could visit Catherine during certain nights, after Diane, and before returning to Diane. She also gave Catherine a few tips. Well, the tips seemed to help because Catherine de Medici started popping out kids like a happy rabbit, giving birth 10 times in 12 years. Still, it was Diane de Poitiers who had the parties, who Henri let keep and wear the crown jewels, and who even wrote many of the king's official letters, even signing some of them Henri Diane. Diane was even responsible for raising Henri and Catherine's litter of children, and Henri gave Diane Chenonceaux, which Catherine wanted for herself. While she owned Chenonceaux, Diane ran it like a business. It was profitable, and she pumped the profits back into the chateau. She built a bridge over the river Cher and expanded the building. When Henri II died jousting, Diane was in trouble. Suddenly, Catherine de Medici was the queen mother and the most powerful person in France. It was get-even time. Catherine didn't like Diane. She already tried to have quicklime thrown in Diane's face, which would have permanently scarred and disfigured it. She really didn't like Diane. She didn't like the hold she had over her husband and was obsessed to the point of having a hole drilled in the bedroom chamber that Henri and Diane shared so that Catherine could watch what went on. In an attempt to separate Henri and Diane, Catherine even arranged for Henri to get hooked up with a Scottish beauty, Jane Fleming, when Diane was ill. Henri not only hooked up with Jane, he knocked her up. Whatever Catherine hoped to gain didn't work. When Diane was well, she resumed her station as Henri's main squeeze. And now, Henri was dead, and Catherine was a de Medici with a long history of ends justifying any means necessary. In fact, Machiavelli dedicated The Prince to Catherine de Medici's father. This was not a good time to be Diane de Poitiers. For starters, Catherine wanted Chenonceaux, but legally Chenonceaux was Diane's. Catherine couldn't just take it, no matter how much she wanted it. So she forced Diane to swap Chenonceaux for Chaumont-sur-Loire. It was a type of offer from an Italian that Diane could not refuse. Always politically astute, Diane made the trade and left the scene, moving to her home in Annay, where she was able to spend her remaining years. Good move. Catherine de Medici became the 3rd woman to run Chenonceaux. Like the other 2, she left her mark. She redid the gardens, gave the place a facelift, and built the gallery on the bridge over the Cher. Catherine de Medici was one of the most powerful women in European history. Orphaned at birth, her uncle the Pope took charge of her future. Actually, she was a pawn her uncle played for political advantage. Catherine was raised in a convent and seemed quite happy to remain there. Catherine's uncle Pope was under pressure from Charles V, the Holy Roman Emperor, that's Germany and Spain. He thought that marrying Catherine to the French would help keep Charles at bay. This is the same Pope whose excesses got under the skin of Martin Luther and who largely caused the Protestant Reformation. Rome got France, and France got parts of Italy and Catherine in a package deal. Catherine's dowry included a pile of cash and a big chunk of Italy. The French actually got the cash, but never did get the parts of Italy they were promised. They got a 14-year-old girl, considered ugly, who became one of the most vicious women the world has ever known, and who changed France forever. Considered the mother of French cuisine, Catherine de' Medici introduced Florentine cooking to France. All French cooking involving spinach is rooted in Catherine de' Medici's appearance. To improve her stature, Catherine introduced the high heel. She mixed beeswax with food coloring to create the first lip gloss. She banned thick waists at court, leading to the introduction of corsets. Catherine bought art and improved architecture in France. Yet for all the good she did, she caused tremendous harm, pain, and agony. The greatest arts and talents of Catherine de' Medici, the daughter of the man Machiavelli dedicated the prince to, were lying, intrigue, poison, and assassination. She would poison and assassinate people by her own hand when she couldn't find another. She continually lied, plotted, and schemed to enhance her power. She started civil religious wars, she instigated massacres, she used her children as pawns and tools, controlling and manipulating them as needed. The naked pursuit of personal power appeared to be Catherine de' Medici's guiding principle and moral compass. This was an evil woman. At the end of this long, tree-lined lane lies Chenonceaux. The Lingerie lies outside the main chateau, the keep of Marquez. Here's Pam, Mackenzie, and Madison in front of the chateau. The Tower Keep has hundreds of nasty barn swallows or some type of similar bird. These are two images to show the front doors. Thomas Boyer's coat of arms appears on the door to the left. Catherine Briconet's coat of arms is on the door to the right. Diane's garden. Catherine's garden. The Green Garden. This is the maze. This is disappointing compared to the maze at Hampton Court, outside of London. I suspect that the French keep the hedges short to keep people from getting lost. But getting lost is the whole point and fun for a garden maze. Now we go inside Chenonceaux. Here's the guard room, the chapel, the back of the chapel, the river Cher, the original tile flooring that was covered up, the guard room's ceiling, Diane de Poitiers's bedroom. The painting is Catherine de' Medici. Originally a painting of Diane was here, but because the frame is molded into the fireplace, Catherine de' Medici had a painting commissioned specifically to replace Diane's. Diane de Poitiers's bed, the gallery ballroom on the ground floor, the green study used by Catherine de' Medici, the fireplace in the green study, the library ceiling, Catherine de' Medici's portrait. In the kitchen area, bread would be kept warm in this oven. This is the carving board in the chateau kitchen. The dining room where the staff ate. Another shot of the kitchen. The staff's dining room, the kitchen fireplace, the Francois I bedroom, the fireplace in the King Francois I bedroom, the Louis XIV living room. The salamander above the fireplace is the emblem of King Francois I. The Louis XIV living room. Here's Pam and Mackenzie climbing the stairs. The Five Queens bedroom was named after Catherine de' Medici's 2 daughters and 3 daughters-in-law, Queen Margot, Elizabeth of France, Marie Stuart, Elizabeth of Austria, and Louise de Lorraine. The ceiling of the Five Queens bedroom. The ceiling in Catherine de' Medici's bedroom. The ceiling of the Estampes exhibition room. The Estampes exhibition room was a small apartment with drawings and engravings of Chenonceaux through the years. The first floor gallery had an art exhibition featuring modern art. It seemed out of place. The fireplace in the first floor gallery. The bedroom of César of Vendôme, son of King Henri IV. Stairs to the second floor. Pam taking a picture in the second floor hall. Louise de Lorraine's bedroom. She retired here to pray and meditate after her husband, Henri III, was assassinated. The ceiling of Louise's bedroom.